Hey, welcome to Planet Earth. Mr. H here with you. How you doing? Here with my special guest star, Buddy the Cat. Big orange cat, sitting all over my recording equipment, leaving yellow hair all over the place. But hey, we still love him, right? So I hope you guys had a fantastic week. You made it to Friday. Give yourself some applause. Or don't. Hey, it's up to you. If you got to work this weekend, don't worry. Mr. H is there with you. So we're just going to have some fun with what we're doing. And what better way to start off the weekend than with some history, some dinosaurs, and some football. And Miss Holly Stockings, the other cat, has decided to join us as well. Hey, remember we were talking about Nero, right? Wanted to commit suicide and, he couldn't quite do it. Yeah, the slave had to help him out. Well, he dies, and of course, being Mr. Responsible, left exactly no successor, not to mention nobody in the Julio Claudio family wanted that job. As you can see, it's kind of a stressful job. So we've got the year of the four emperors. I call them the Govs. Don't know why I put an A in there, but that's really an O, and you'll see why. So we have people who don't like Nero. The Senate declared him an enemy of Rome. Several governors are deciding to revolt. And the one guy with the biggest army is the dude in the upper left corner, Galba, the governor of Hispania, Spain. He's got his army. He's marching forward. People are deciding to become loyal to him because he's got the biggest army, and he's executing people along the way who aren't exactly enthusiastically supporting him. And not just executing, we're talking crucifixion. Welcome to Rome. I guess if you really get mad, it could be upside down, but I guess he's in a hurry. So Galba is going to make his way down there. He doesn't have a lot of support. He's got enough, but some people say yes to avoid getting executed. The minute he leaves, they start talking smack about him. So he gets down there into Rome, and the Senate decides to declare him emperor, figuring he could work with the guy. But he doesn't have, like I said, a lot of support inside of Italy. And, well, there's people, he tries to execute them. People don't like that. They fight back. And we've got basically a civil war throughout Italy. And the guy who takes out Galba is the guy right below him, Otho. Now, if you've noticed one thing about Roman sculptures, they show everything, warts and all, man. Not as idealized stuff the Greeks do. And we know exactly what Galba looked like, his face and head, because after they overthrew and killed him, they chopped it off and left it in the Colosseum for a week. So, yeah, we know exactly what Galba looks like, no doubt on that. Problem is, Otho, even though he overthrew Galba, he didn't have a lot of support either. So he's trying to gain people's support. He proclaims himself emperor. And this guy over there on the other side, the upper picture there, that's Vitellius. He's a governor up in Germany. Comes down over the Alps because they have roads there now. And he comes through there to do battle with Otho. They fight it out, his legion against their legion. The battle of Bedoricum, right there, collide on the road. And Otho loses. Otho decides to just, skip all the paperwork and, commit suicide. Not everybody likes Vitellius. Big surprise. So here we are. The guy there in the bottom corner over there. Yep, that is Vespasian. Vespasian is the governor of Egypt. That's where all the bread and the grains coming from. He was about to retire, move back to Italy, and sell mules. In other words, he was going to be the ancient world's version of a used car salesman. Right? Well, he decides he doesn't want to do that, so he's going to become emperor. So he goes marching up into Italy. He has a friend of his coming down from around Venice. There's another battle of Bedoricum. Vitellius loses, and it doesn't end so well for him. They just make it quick and lop his head off. And Vespasian is now the emperor of Rome. We had 4 emperors in 1 year, 69 AD, and everyone kind of got tired of it and decided it's going to be with Vespasian. Maybe they should have an HR department and had applications, decide who they want, but they decided not to go that way. So Vespasian, former general, he's in charge of everything. So it's going to be really well organized and everything runs the way it's supposed to. And I don't even mean that sarcastically because that's exactly what happened. He ran everything the way it's supposed to, took care of stuff. You got a problem? Go see Vespasian. He'll take care of it for you. Probably sell you a couple of mules too. Who knows, right? Once a salesman, always a salesman. That's what we think you look like. Pretty sure because, like we said, they really, really like to get accurate sculptures. Just something they do, man. So Vespasian also is planning ahead because he's got his 2 sons right behind him, Titus and Domitian. People love Titus. Titus the rock star, but Titus not too popular around Judea because, destroyed the Temple of Jerusalem and all that. And Dominition's kind of a weirdo, but he's third in line. We're not going to ever see that guy, right? Titus going to get married, find some nice girl, have a bunch of kids, and we got a whole new dynasty here called the Flavian Dynasty. So Vespasian runs everything to the year 79. He finally drops off, and here we go. Titus, the one everybody loves. We know what he looked like. Everybody loves Titus. Titus, extremely popular, genuinely popular, and he dies 2 years later. Yeah, he got malaria apparently, and that was that. And people weren't very happy. They always had state funerals for Roman emperors. I don't know about the guys in year 69. I'm pretty sure not about Nero. Probably dumped them off in the ocean. That was the end of it. But Titus, everyone was upset. Yep. The big funeral, people are crying, rending their clothes, gnashing their teeth, the whole thing. And because, like I said, Titus, people genuinely like Titus. And the other reason they're upset, because if Titus has died and he has no heirs, who's the next guy up? Oh yeah, Domitian. And nobody likes Domitian, and Domitian likes nobody. Yeah, that's just kind of the way he is. How do we describe Domitian? I guess psychotic would be a good one there for you. Not even a Caligula psychotic. We're talking Jack the Ripper kind of psychotic. When he was a kid, he used to capture flies. Yep, good hand-eye coordination. And pull their wings off. If that doesn't yell psycho, I don't know what does. Plus, they attempted to assassinate Vespasian when he was younger, and they were running around from place to place trying to avoid the assassins and saw the combat up close and everything. So it probably had some kind of an effect on him. Like most psychotics, Domitian gets along with nobody or very few people. And the two people he got along with, who he genuinely loved and thought the world of and hung around with all the time, was Vespasian and Titus, his father and his brother. Came alive around these guys. And now they're both gone, and you've given him absolute power in the Roman Empire. No, nothing here can go wrong, right? We've seen that before. So he's already suspicious. He doesn't like anybody. At least the Roman bureaucracy is keeping stuff running. And he becomes paranoid because he thinks that people are plotting to take the throne from him. And as you've seen, this could happen. So he didn't get along with the Senate. Vespasian got along with the Senate. Titus got along with everybody. He doesn't like the Senate, and executed some senators, and then executed a few more senators. It just became a fun sort of thing for him to do. So he's executing senators left and right. He sees plots where they may or may not exist, and now they're starting to exist because he's nuts. And one day he dies under quote-unquote mysterious circumstances. Yeah, we don't really know what happened to him. One day he was dead, and that was the end of it. No big state funeral for Domitian. They dug a hole, dropped him in, pushed the dirt back over it, and life went on. Yes, don't ask any questions. Got Paulie Walnuts out there with the hot dog cart on top of what used to be a grave. Or maybe it is a grave. We don't really know. Like I said, don't ask any questions. Here's your free hot dog. Move on. So what happens after Domitian dies? Well, some people in the Senate pine for the days of the Republic. It wasn't that great. But some people think this is an opportunity in this empire thing go back to a republic. A guy named Nerva decides, nah, that was very corrupt. He was pretty old, but not that old. And he has a couple sons, decides he doesn't want to get mixed up in the empire, so he's going to become the emperor. Has support of the Senate. They know this guy. And he's going to pick his own successors. Yeah, it was called the era of the 5 good emperors. We'll get to them next time around because, hey, it's Friday. We want to get off to a party or watch some Penguin highlights or something like that. So, hey, let's just walk over what used to be the grave of Domitian, grab a couple hot dogs there from Paulie, complimentary, and let's talk about Beelzebufo. Yes, the biggest frog of the prehistoric world. There's some bigger ones today down in South America. But, hey, let's talk about this guy. Yeah, pretty big frog, don't you think? Gets the name Beelzebufo because of the horn protrusions over the eyes, probably there to protect said eyes in the rough and tumble world of Cretaceous dining. Oops, so fire alarm. What did I do? Mr. H did something. That's okay. I'm still here, so it couldn't have been that bad. That's 9 inches long. That's pretty big for, a frog. If it comes through a portal and comes into your house, please keep your cat away from it. Yeah, it could probably eat your cat. It will probably eat mice and things like this. We tried to figure out what it ate, and being a, frog, probably bugs and stuff like that. But other people have speculated, due to the size of this thing, it might have even gone after dinosaur hatchlings. Isn't that something? That hasn't been confirmed. It's still speculative. However, it could happen. It's certainly big enough. We haven't found any bones or anything to suggest it. But don't worry, people out there digging around, they're going to find it. Now, our friend Beelzebufo here became extinct during the KT extinction. Now, we don't know why this happened, because it's only 9 inches long. It's big for a frog, but, an overall scheme of things, not that big. When the asteroid hit, anything the size of a dog and bigger became extinct. Things that were the size of a dog and smaller generally lived through this thing because they didn't have to eat as much food, don't need as much energy, things like this. And alligators and frogs can hibernate for a long time, not eat any food for a very long time, right? And be dormant for years before coming back out. In fact, there's even frogs in the desert over in Arizona which can encase themselves in a shell of water and sleep for years on end. So why didn't Beelzebufo survive the KT extinction? Yeah, see, it's a pretty good question, isn't it? Couldn't just hibernate your way through? Smaller animals made it through. Some bigger animals made it through. This guy didn't make it through. So, haven't found any fossils beyond 70 million. So, didn't make it through. Now, it's not that big an animal, as I said, but I guess to a T-Rex, looks like Skittles. So maybe just scooped them up and ate them all. Who knows? That also leads to the question, how big do you think this thing could actually get? I mean, it is the Cretaceous period. Think about it, right? The longer species hang around, the bigger they get. You see it with the theropods, you see it with the sauropods. Even the raptors are pretty good size. Some are very small, some are the size of a human being. Things like Utah raptor are almost the size of a small Allosaurus. So, I don't know. How big could these things get? Could it get that big? I'm thinking maybe they get back to the size of maybe, the prehistoric amphibians back in the Paleozoic, especially down in South America where the age of mammals got off to a late start, So it could have gotten that big down there. But, as for taking over the world, having an age of frogs, sorry, I think the amphibians had their chance back in the Paleozoic. But, hey, they're still around today and they're doing quite well. I just put this picture in because I felt like it. Walter White riding a big frog in the desert. What does this mean? Absolutely nothing. I just thought it looked cool. Alrighty, these are the 3 guys everybody in Pittsburgh is talking about. Mike Tomlin, Mitch Trubisky, and Mason Rudolph. Well, Coach Tomlin's coming under some fire here because you lose to 2-10 teams back-to-back in home games. Okay, you want to call yourself a contender or even a fairly competent pro football team, that kind of thing simply does not happen. And other people have said, you've been there a long time and you haven't really done anything. So, what you done for me lately? That Super Bowl trophy in 2008 looks pretty nice, but it was a very long time ago. The Super Bowl appearance in 2010, that was a long time ago. You had a really good team there. 2016, 2017, apparently lost control of it and the whole thing disintegrated. Yeah, people are not very happy with Coach Mike Tomlin right now. He's definitely in a hot seat, and that's just the way it is, man. Welcome to the NFL. You don't deliver, NFL turns in not for long. So I think he's going to be okay to the end of the year, but afterwards, I don't know, man. Might be time for a new guy. Let's see if he pulls off a miracle. Number 10 over there is Mitch Trubisky. All right, he was the starting quarterback before Kenny Pickett, who, by the way, if you wonder where he is, he's out, destroyed his ankle, so he's out 2 to 4 weeks, maybe the rest of the year. So Mitch Trubisky has to step back in, and he hasn't done very well. Didn't do well against Arizona, a team he should have butchered up. New England has a terrible defense, and he made them look like all pros, so no one's happy with Mitch Trubisky. Like everyone, like you've heard a million times, everybody loves the backup quarterback. Well, now he's the starter, and nobody wants him. So now we've got Mason Rudolph. Now he's the backup. And if you remember back in 2019, when he was playing, people were booing him. It's just the way this thing goes. Back when Roethlisberger went down for the whole year, remember that? So Pittsburgh quarterback situation's kind of messed up. The head coach situation, a little bit of chaos. We had George Pickett screaming and throwing things the other day. don't read too deep into that. These are very competitive people. They get mad when they don't win. It comes down to the head coach, though. You got to keep people under control like that, okay? The 30-second burst of anger, let it go, fine. But maybe, just maybe, if you won those 2 games, you'd be 9-4, and nobody would be screaming about this. Right now, they're 7-6 in the middle of the playoff race, but you could have been in the front. So Mitch Trubisky, like we said, see how he does. I don't know, man. I just don't have a lot of confidence in this guy. I see him drop back, and I get nervous. I almost wish he'd just take off and run with the ball. He hasn't fumbled, I'll give him that. So we'll have to see how it goes. And, of course, Mason Rudolph, you know about him. He's been around since, I think, 2018. He was the guy leading the Steelers back in 2019. Roethlisberger went down. Remember, he was trading with Duck Hodges there, back and forth, starting quarterback, and kind of making it work there for a while. Not sure if he's the answer either, but these are the 2 guys you got, and these are 2 guys you got to run with. So we'll just have to see how it goes. They have Indianapolis coming up, playing on a Saturday. Could they win in Indianapolis last year? Could they win again? I think they could. I just realized that's a picture of Kenny Pickett, so suddenly my confidence is plunging again. I don't know, just go out and play the game, man. That's really all you can do, right? So they both are teams at 7-6. They both resemble each other. A fairly decent defense that hasn't really shown up lately. Both of them are offenses that don't move very well. I could really see this game ending something like 10-7. So the team whose defense shows up and looks kind of what they're supposed to look like is going to win this game. So the best way for the Steelers to win this thing is through their defense. You've heard me say this all year long. And these are 2 guys that make it happen. TJ Watt and Angelo Highsmith over here. And Highsmith, well, he hurt his neck, had to come out. He's had 4 extra days to heal, so hopefully he's okay. And TJ Watt came out of a concussion protocol. So, yeah, like I said, man, please do not bet the house on this one. So I'm going to go with a narrow Steeler victory because that's just kind of where I am. I'm a fanatic who fights all the way to the very end. And, hey, if the Steelers can pull this off, 8-6, live to fight another day, and they let everybody in the playoffs these days. So season's not over yet. Maybe later, but not yet. You guys have a great day. I will see you again next week, closing in on Christmas. Hope you get lots of presents, or at least cash anyway. That always works. Buddy here wants to be fed. Miss Holly Stockings wants to be fed. They do that staring thing. And, and the tail is swishing and all that kind of thing. So, hey, I'm going to move on. You guys have yourself a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And, hey, I'll see you next week. До свидания.